What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy, and now that I'm back in PA for the summer, I thought maybe I would go back a little bit to what I did last year and cover some kind of hot topics. I realize this isn't the the hottest topic right now, but while it's on my mind, and especially since I've had some fresh thoughts and interactions in regards to this, I would maybe talk about abortion. Now, this is another one of those things where I kind of have two different ways of thinking about it. The moral Christian part of me says, well, of course abortion is wrong because you're still essentially killing a human life. It might barely be developed, but it's still there. And it's like, there's no real point at which you could easily say that it's not a living thing. But in any case, yeah, from a moral perspective, and certainly a religious perspective, I'm like, no, abortion's wrong. Period. But that doesn't mean I want to force my belief and my view on other people. This is where separation of church and state is so great. And I might make a totally different video about that at some point. But anyway, separating your religious thoughts and beliefs from your political thoughts, perspectives, ideas, and what you think should be law is kind of what this country is based on. So, luckily, I have the ability to do that. So, my kind of political thought process in regards to this, it's a little bit more complicated. I still think, for the most part, abortion is wrong, but there are certain reasons where I think it could kind of be justified. Like, if there's a situation where it's pretty much guaranteed that the child is not going to survive, but then if you don't get an abortion, it massively increases the chances that the mother will end up dying as well, then I think the moral high ground there is keep somebody alive. I'm trying to keep this PG, so I'm not going to get into finer details of certain situations, but there are certain times when, the mother never wanted to have a child in the first place. It was kind of forced upon her by someone. I still kind of think, in a way, it's wrong to have an abortion, but it's more so, like, the moral failing is more so on the part of the person that got her pregnant in the first place, and not so much on the woman who's pregnant. It's more so the consequences arising of another immoral decision. Other thoughts on abortion, I mean, really, okay, a lot of people, the really more hot topic part of this is specifically in relation to Planned Parenthood as an organization. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of Republicans especially, are trying to rail on Planned Parenthood, where they're trying to say it does nothing but abortions. Like, it doesn't help people in any other way, especially if they're not planning on getting an abortion. What I have heard from other people that have actually had first-hand dealings with Planned Parenthood and such organizations is that that's not the case. They actually help people out in other ways and provide certain services that are, very helpful to women. I shouldn't be judging this in particular because guess what? I'm not a woman. Can't tell if you realize that, but I'm not a woman. So, it's really, I feel like it's not my place to say anyway. But based on the knowledge that I have gathered from other people, in particular females that I've interacted with, it's not that simple that it's just defunding Planned Parenthood equals reducing abortions. There's so much more than that they do. Actually, I heard from a friend of mine just yesterday, a certain acquaintance of his had some process needed to be done. There was dead tissue left inside of her. And so the way to get rid of it was through an abortion-like process. It's not really an abortion the way you would typically think of an abortion, but the operation would have been similar. But if the recent abortion law that was proposed by our, good old President Donald J. Trump, if that, or whoever was actually the one that proposed it, the recent change proposed by the government in regards to abortion, if that would have passed, guess what? She would not have been able to get this operation just because it was abortion-like. It wasn't even really an abortion. There was nothing living inside of her. It was just dead tissue. But she wouldn't have been able to get that procedure because of the new law, which is completely absurd. It's not like you're killing anything in this case. The tissue is already dead, and there's nothing more than that inside of her. But guess what? If the dead tissue sits in there and just festers and spreads, and now her life is at risk because you decided she can't have this one abortion-like procedure. Abortion is a more complicated topic than many people make it out to be. That's part of the reason why I've got, my moral perspective and then my political perspective on it. I don't want to force other people who believe different things, like I said last week, who might have a completely different life situation, to have to go along with what I think is good or right, because they're in an entirely different situation. I don't want to force them into that just because I think it's right. I'm not even involved in this particular situation. Again, I'm not female, so abortion law really does not affect me that much, personally. Especially since I'm still single. And like I said, the people that I have talked to generally are under the impression that these abortion laws that they've tried to pass recently would do so much more harm than good. And I feel like that's a lot of what we're running into with the current administration, but I'm trying not to get too off topic here. Really, I think part of the problem that we need to figure out is not so much what to do in that situation, but try to fix the other end of things. Rather than railing on people for getting abortions, let's do a little more to actually help the people out. Instead of taking their rights away and thus forcing upon them things that they may or may not want to happen, let's just try to help them out more. And along that vein, adoptions. How many people out there say that abortion is wrong and that it should be outlawed, and yet aren't willing to adopt? Because that's, I feel like that's the fair trade-off. If you're going to get rid of abortions, thus obviously increasing our population, then maybe you should be willing to adopt and help raise some of those extra kids that are otherwise going to have a very hard life. Just saying. I feel like for the most part, if we made adoption easier and more available, and there were more people willing to adopt, then a lot of the reasons people get abortions in the first place wouldn't be as much of a factor. So rather than sit there and complain about all the abortion-related stuff, how about you freaking help the situation on the other end of things? When there are actually living human beings out there that need care, and you're just completely ignoring them. Anyway, so that's all I've got for you this time around. As always, like and share if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel to see more stuff as I post it. Hopefully I'll be doing some more hot topic kind of stuff this summer, but I don't know. We'll see where my brain goes. I covered a lot of the stuff that I had in mind last summer, but then again, some newer things have happened, and there's more stuff to talk about. So who knows? Like I said, subscribe to my channel to see more stuff as I post it. Click the notification bell thing on my channel if you want to see my videos right up on your homepage. And feel free to follow me on Facebook and Twitter at MattConroyYT. Tack a 1990 onto there for Instagram because Instagram is weird and it's not very YouTube friendly. I don't know. Those are all the different ways you can keep up with me. So, I guess that's it. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully you'll turn into the next video. But in any case, stay cool, people.